Hello, and a good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening to you, the good and wonderful people of the tube. Hope you're well today. Hope you're feeling grand and those well in the world. Hello, everybody. Today's vid, everybody, is episode 3? Or is it 4? I don't know. One of those of the titles say it correct, because I don't remember. Of the the ST62 vintage facelift. So today, the video is, like it says, we're going to be putting clay dots into the neck. We're going to be removing the plastic ones that are in there now, and we're going to replace them with wood filler to act as a clay dot, which is technically what wood filler is. It's clay. So, that's what we're going to do today. But before we do that, people of the tube, I have this case to show you, which I bought kind of recently. And this is basically, if I ever go anywhere with the ST62, this is the case it will go in. This is an original 1960s, early 1960s, this one as well, Selmer thin line case, this one. And it's the croc skin case. And if you got a Strat or a Telecaster from Selmer in the 60s, this is the case it would have come in. It would not have come in one of the Fender brown toilets cases or one of the black cases. It would have come in one of these. And my 62 Strat, the one that's on the wall, the black Strat there, I have its Selmer thin line case upstairs. Malcolm did recover it though. This is all gone now. He's recovered it in black vinyl. But I want to show you this because, like I say, this is going to be the ST62's case from now on. So I'm going to bring the camera in a bit closer. Let you see it. Let me unscrew the camera and let you see it a bit more up close and personal, so to say. So I'll say it's called croc skin, but it looks to me like snake skin. But yeah, what do I know? So it's kind of like a silver kind of material. This one even has the original Selmer logo on it still. That's extremely rare. I've seen a lot of these cases, and having that logo on there, that doesn't always stay. In all fairness, the croc skin case in this good condition, you don't see it. In all fairness, they're normally knackered because they're not the strongest of cases. They're a bit kind of fragile, but they're so cool. And I say, when this one came up for sale around here, I had to buy it, and immediately I was like, this is where the ST62 is going to live. There was a band name, people of the tube, here as well. Somebody's painted over it, unfortunately, but you can still read it. And it says, The Stockbrokers. Now, I don't think you'll be able to see it. I highly doubt. Oh, yeah, you can see the letter, and it's kind of like raised. So, if I come up this end, no, you can't see it down there. But, yeah, so you got like, you can just about see it. There's a K, E, R, and an S at the end. But somebody's painted over it, so I don't know who the stockbrokers are. I have no idea. If you know, people of the tube, let me know in the comment section below. But this was one of their guitarist cases. And this could have held a Fender. It could have held a Fender Strat or a Telecaster. But it could have been a Hofner. It could have been any Hofner model as well, because Selmer used to sell Hofners in these cases as well. But I say, when Fenders came over from the US to Selmer, invariably they went out in these cases. When I worked in Old Hat, we got John Entwistle's 62 Strat, and when we got that in the shop, it came in a Selmer croc skin case like this. The 1964 Fender Strat, which is still one of my favourite guitars I've ever played, that came in a case like this. My 62, the black Strat there, that would have come in a case exactly like this originally. I've still got the case, it just doesn't look like this anymore. But yeah, so it's really cool. Anyway, but yeah, again, having the Selmer logo, awesome. Let me show you. And the latches still work as well, which again, you don't see, because these things, like I said, they don't weather the storm very well. They're not particularly, like, tough. So anyway, all the ST62's bits are inside here so far. And I say we need this out because this is what we're going to be working on today. So we're going to replace these white plastic dots with wood filler by Ron Seal. We're gone for the light colour because we're kind of going to replicate kind of faded clay dots. But this is the inside. It's like black velvet, and it's really cool. I'm pretty sure this case belonged to a Hofner. the imprints in the velvet and stuff like that looks to me like something like a Colorama or something like that. It's definitely not a Fender that's been in this case. It's definitely a Hofner to me, which again would add up because these cases shipped Fenders and Hofners as well, and probably other guitars as well. But to me, this doesn't add up to being a Fender. I've got another Selmer case upstairs. I have 3 of them now. And I've got another one upstairs that held a Telecaster, and you can clearly see the Telecaster outline, and the 62's one, you can see its outline as well. Whereas this one doesn't really have much of an outline left, but there are 2 wears in the back of the kind of like the velvet on the bottom there, and that's not really consistent with any Fender kind of wear of a guitar. That's more like a backplate of a Hofner or something. Anyway, I just wanted to show you that, people of the tube, before we get into this vid, because it's super cool. And again, this one will be an early 60s one because it doesn't have corners. They later put corners on these things just to kind of shore them up a bit, and they look a bit different. But this one's an early one because it's never had corners on it. So yeah, there you go, people of the tube. Guitar case history from Selmer in the 60s, croc skin case. This is what, if you could afford it back in the day, if you wanted to buy a Strat or a Telecaster, this is the guitar case you would have got with the guitar. You wouldn't have got one of the brown Fender cases, you would have got one of these. And this is what you would see musicians carrying around if they had one. Like a Hofner or a Fender, this is the case. Super cool. History. Love it. Very happy to own this. Like I said, I'm very happy I own 3 Selmer cases now. It's very, very cool. Anyway, onto the neck. Let's go. Okay, people with tubes. So, this is what we're going to do today. So, like I say, I'm not going to take the side dots out. I'm going to leave the side dots because, in all fairness, they've really discoloured and they actually look right. To be honest with you, they actually have the right colour to them, the side dots. The top ones on the fingerboard do not. These are as white as anything, and they're not supposed to be. Because, back in the day, Fender didn't use plastic dots, he used clay. So, how will you be able to see this? But if you look at the dots on the 62 here, they're not white. I don't know how well you'll be able to see that. It's really hard because the LCD screen's upside down. But they're not white. They're kind of like an off, they're almost kind of like a brown colour, to be honest. They're kind of grey. They're not very white. So these are far too white. So we're going to replace them because, again, this is all about getting this guitar to be as close to a real 62 look-wise as is possible. Like I say, we're still waiting on the body. That's still away getting redone. But at this point in time, we've got period correct machine heads. I'm still unsure of what I'm going to do with the back of the neck. I might just leave it as it feels really nice. It's not very sticky or anything like that. This will need a refret, but that's going to have to wait because one thing at a time. But I'll say, the headstock's the neck's all done apart from these dots, really. So, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do this. I've done it a few times, and I'm really hoping this one will play ball, much in the same way as the other guitars I've done, where I've replaced the fret dots with clay dots. So, what I do to start with is I want to make a little hole, little dint, just use a file, basically, in a guesstimate of where the centre of the dot is. So it doesn't have to be perfectly centered. I'm not after perfection here. You know, it doesn't matter about that. So the hole's there, basically. So when I drill it with a very, very small drill bit into there, it just guides it. So I don't go like that and totally ruin the guitar neck. So at this point in time, I've got a tiny little hole that my drill bit can sit in, like that. So when I go like that, you know, we're not going to go, oh my god, and then start drilling the entire neck full of holes. So, wow, this one's deep. This is a big, okay, got it. And invariably what happens is, when you drill into these, you'll fall out the bottom. It's a very, very weird feeling. But you drill really gently. You don't put any pressure on the drill. You just let it do its job. Let it go down through the plastic. And eventually, it just kind of like it just kind of falls out the bottom of the fret dot. It's very, very weird. So that's stage one. Well, stage one is technically making like a little indent in the thing, so your drill bit doesn't slip. And then you drill a little hole. I mean, that's 1.5, that one. And then, basically, what I do, it's quite tedious, people do, but I just go up sizes, basically. And eventually, you're left with just like a little bit of a plastic ring around the outside. So, that's that one done. It is very tedious, but when I first did this, I initially went to just like drill the whole thing out. So I immediately just went kind of like, oh, let's get the actual size drill bit and just drill this thing out. And what I ended up doing was making the hole, I had tear out for a start, and also I made the hole big. And it was on a Squire Strat I had. That was the first guitar I did where I replaced these dots with clay dots. And I drilled it out and I made the hole too big, and then it looked stupid. Once I'd filled it, it just looked wrong because the rest were okay, but then this one was massive. And it just didn't do it. So I learnt my lesson from that, and now I basically just do this. It takes a lot longer, and I'm sure some people are like, I'll just go up to the right size. But to me, I'd much rather do it this way because I just think it's safer. And also, you're not running the risk of kind of like absolutely tearing it to shreds. But one thing I will say is, once I get to about, what's that one? Well, the next one's 3. Once I get to about 3, I'm quite happy to jump up sizes, but not until then, really, because I don't want to risk any kind of crazy tear out of the neck or anything like that, or just ruining it basically. So. Okay, I'm getting there. Okay. And again, I'm not putting any pressure on the drill. When I do the drill, I'm just letting it go through on its own thingy. In all fairness, we're not far off being able to probably get that out. Let's keep going up. Basically what I've found with doing this a few times is the smaller the less plastic left in there, the better there is. The bigger you can kind of like get the hole, drill it out, the weaker the plastic has to grab, and eventually it just gives up and just falls out. So I've always thought that looks really cool as well. I don't know how you'll be able to see that, but like with a hole down the middle, I've always thought it looked really cool. I might do that to a guitar one day. Just leave it as a hole. So I am missing my 4mm drill bit because, you know, somebody borrowed my drill bits one day and then that one never came back. So hey. So we'll keep going. This one is probably the last size. I think this is 4.5, isn't it? Yeah. So this is the last size we're going to do, because there's no point going any further than this, I don't think, because it's just going to start. You're running the risk of enlarging the hole, and it's not a good idea. Okay, yep, that's it. So, I can clean that out, and now I can get into. Oh, have I got to the bottom? Oh, not quite. I thought I did, but I haven't. There we go. Okay, so now this is the bit I'm worried about, because usually what I can do now is I can kind of pop it out. Because there's not much plastic left in there, it's just a case of just slowly levering it out of the hole. And this one is actually doing that. I'm really happy about this. And there you go. So then you're left with this little, what's left of the plastic dot, basically. And then you can keep that and feed it to your pets. I don't know. That's a weird thing to say. Do not feed that to your pets. Very, very badly. Okay, and then basically left with, again, this is really hard when the LCD's upside down. Then you're left with this hole. And in all fairness, I've never really gone in there to clean out much of it, to be honest with you. I just normally go around it, and that'll do. You know what I mean? It's not perfection. You know what I mean? I'm not after perfection. So that's done. Okay, so I need to do that with all these, but I'm gonna quickly jump ahead and show you the rest of the technique. So now we've got the hole. It's time to make a mess. So need to get the cover off this wood filler. So come on. Oh, fine. We'll just, you know what? We'll just do this. Oh no, hang on, people tube. Bear with me. We might get in yet. Why do they make these so impossible to get into? It's like when you get like food and stuff, and there's like cling film over it, and it's just impossible to get off. Anyway, there we go. So this might not quite be the right colour. Looking at it now. Way! Do you see that, people of the tube? Tried to attack me. Tried to kill me. My God. That, to me, doesn't look right. Oh dear. Well, that's very annoying. That's far too orangey. I don't know, it might fade. But, I don't know, I remember running into this problem before with getting the right colour. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to run a test, people of the tube, right now, because this video is going to be filmed over a basically like 2 or 3 day period anyway. So, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this in. It's been rubbish. So, it's been all watery. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it in. And we're going to get rid of the water that's in there. Come on. Getting all over my carpet. Okay, so we're going to just put this in anyway, and we're going to see how this one dries. So I'm not going to do the others until this one's dried, but I've got a real sneaking suspicion this is wrong, and we're going to have to go back, and this is far too squidgy. It's like a bad night. What's going on here? Okay. Okay, finally got some sort of filler. Okay, now when putting it in, it's basically just want to like mash it in as much as you can, really. And again, it's not going to be pretty to start with. I can already tell this doesn't look right at all. No, this is wrong. This is wrong. This is totally wrong. So, people with tube, this is not a good start. Oh, I don't know, actually. One sec. No, I think we're good. I think we are. No, I think we're right. It's because it's, at this point in time, it's kind of, it's wet clay, basically, at this point in time, so it's really hard to tell its colour, but I think we'll be okay. And if not, well, I'm just going to do this one. I'm going to let it kind of go dry, and then we'll see. But this is basically all it requires to you to kind of replace your plastic dots with clay dots. It's a very, 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 very simple job. It really is. There is no kind of craziness to it at all. It's very, 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 very easy to do. Like I say, as long as you're just kind of like very careful and you don't kind of like go kind of crazy, especially with the drill, and just kind of like cover yourself, you know, it should be fine. And that's it, basically. It's just like get it looking ugly as hell, and then let it dry. And then what you do is basically just basically sand it back. You know, it's as simple as that. So I'm going to leave that one. I'm not going to do actually, yeah. While that dries, I'm going to drill out the rest of these, which you don't need to see because you've already seen me do one. It's very, very easy, very, very simple. And then once I've drilled the rest of these out, I'm going to let that dry, and we'll be back, I don't know, in a couple of hours, and we'll see how this is going, and see if it looks right. Because if it doesn't, then fair enough, I'll go and get the other wood filler, which I did look at and thought, that looks a bit too white, but it might be the right colour. But I don't know about this one, because clay dots on old Stratocasters would go all sorts of different colours. Like I say, the ones on the 62 here, they're kind of like a brownie kind of colour, apart from the last couple on the bottom of the fretboard. So the ones down here are quite white because they didn't get a lot of play. But the further you get up the neck, they darken off. So they're kind of like this kind of... They're not white. They're kind of like a browny kind of dark grey kind of colour. So, but some of them do go kind of like a red kind of clay colour. I've seen some like this. But we'll see how this looks when it dries. So, People Tube, I'm going to drill the rest of these out, let that dry, and I will see you very soon. Okay, People Tube, I've drilled out I've got rid of all the fret dots. Like I say, there is some remnants of plastic in there from the fret dots, but in all fairness, it's going to be covered over, so you're not going to see it, and it's not really going to be a problem. They all came out really well. Most of them, literally, most of these just fell out. I had one problem child, and that was that one there. The second to last dot, it would not shift. It would not come out at all. So, I think, where is it? It's that one there, isn't it? It eventually came out, but it was very, very weird, and it kind of like was very ugly and distorted. But the rest came out really nice and easy. But basically, half of them just fell out. As soon as you start... That you will find that sometimes, not all the time, but you will find sometimes if you drill in, the glue just gives way, and they just literally just pop out on the end of your drill bit. And that's what happened a couple of times here. I'm pretty sure the 7th fret did it. The 12th fret both did it. That one and that one did it, and the last fret did it as well. The other ones required a little bit more. But that's it. So, anyway, that's still drying. I'm still not 100% sure if that's going to be the right colour. But again, at this point in time, it's still drying. And we'll see what it looks like once it's done. But while the neck's here, I need to drill some holes in this, in the back. So, mainly because when Fender were building these things back in the 60s, they would have these little holes, like little kind of like the jig holes, where they would mount the neck onto a bench, and I've got a picture of one here. I don't know how to even see that, but if I zoom in really quickly on this picture, so this is a 62 neck, so you can see again, you can see up here, there's an extra hole near the neck where the neck screw would go in, and that's one of the jig screws. And there's also one in the headstock underneath the D-string machine head. And these are things you can kind of like. These are what give away vintage guitars more than anything. So you can see there's 2 holes, just there. So you can see there's 2 holes there. So we're going to replicate them, People Tube, because I need to. Because again, it's about getting this as close as is humanly possible to an original 62. So I'm going to be a bit devil may care with this one in the base of the neck, as long as I don't press too hard. That shouldn't matter about the wood filler either. I'm just going to go for it, which could be famous last words, People Tube, but we will see. I'm not going to drill too deep in it. I just need to get it so there is a hole there. So it's about there. Again, it's just guesstimate work. It's nothing kind of like, this isn't rocket science, So it's about there, give or take. It's kind of just off center. So we're going to drill a hole. That'll do. I'm not going to go any deeper than that. Although I do think, no, that's about the right size. Actually. Yeah, I'm going to leave that. So that's done. So that's that one done. I mean, there's going to be... I'm never going to pass this off as an original. And there's no way you could. Because it says ST62 there, made in Japan. But, again, this is all about... I don't really plan on selling this guitar. So this is all about making it as close to an original as I humanly can. So now we're going to go and try and do the headstock one. So I'm going to remove the D-string machine head here. And drill the pilot hole that would have been... Well, where would it have been? Let's have a look. I might have to remove more machine heads here. No, I don't have to. So it's about... Again, I'm just going to be a bit devil may care with it and go for it. So it's about there. Yep. Again, I've got to be really careful I don't go through the headstock. I'm always terrified of drilling into headstock. I'm sure a lot of people are saying, why aren't you bracing the neck? Trust me, on this carpet, this neck ain't going to go anywhere. Done. That'll do. Okay, so got a hole, and that's it. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Okay, so, again, people with a tube, if you're looking at vintage guitars, these are telltale signs of if it's real or if it's not. If people don't know, then they will, on a fake, they'll invariably miss these things. So, hole in the base of the neck, and there'll be a hole opposite, underneath the D-string machine head here. Just above the actual screw hole for the screw that holds the machine in place. There'll be a pilot. I can't remember what they're called. I want to call it a pilot hole, but it's not a pilot hole. They're like bench, basically, like little dowels they put. Basically where they'd put them down on their bench to fret dress them and sort them out, basically. Back in the Fender factory. Come on, get in there, screwdriver. But yeah, there we go. People tube. I just thought I'd add that as an extra little thing for this video. I did mean to keep doing that. So that hole's in place, that hole's in place. All these are drilled out now. So we just got to basically wait to let this dry, which will take quite a while. And then we can sand it back, see what it looks like. If it doesn't look right, then I'll just basically just kind of like pick it out. And then we'll go back to B&Q and get some more. And one of the reasons I really want to get the screw holes right on the body and the neck, is because the body is going to have the correct holes in it as well. It's going to have the dowel hole placement, and it's also going to have, again, much in the same way with like a neck like this would have been placed on like two little pins on a workbench. The body's going to have all the right markings. It's going to have the right dowel hole holes and stuff like that. That should be there. So there's no point kind of going half about this. And this project isn't about doing it by halves. It's about going all out. So there we go. So this neck is kind of about 80% done. We'll see. The only thing left to do is to fill these holes again. Not sure about this yet. We will see. It might look right. We never know. So, yeah, so that's it. Another thing I need to quickly talk to you about, people of Tube. Come up here. Where are we? There we are. So another thing I need to talk to you about is a tremolo. So the reissued tremolo that I got for this guitar initially, looking more and more and more in a very kind of like analytic way at original 60s tremolo systems, the more and more it didn't look right. And the more I looked at the original base plate of this guitar, the ST62, the more it looked correct. And the more I looked at the saddles my friend Mark gave me for this guitar, the more they look correct. So, what I've done is, this is the ST62's tremolo plate, and these are the patent pending saddles that my friend Mark gave me for this guitar, because the original saddles are gone, basically. They're knackered. And that's the original ST62 bit. The block, though, I have changed that to the steel block that the reissued tremolo came with. So, it still has the period correct tremolo block, but the top half of the reissued tremolo from Crazy Parts, it didn't look right to me after a while. After really being really analytical and looking at them, it didn't look right. So this is where we are, people tube. So this is the tremolo unit that will be going in the guitar. Steel block, but it's the ST62's trem plate. I do apologise for my phone. And it's the patent pending saddles that my friend Mark gave me, and the ST62's arm. So, and the only thing it isn't is the Crazy Parts steel block there that is kind of relict, as you can kind of see. It's kind of a bit dinged up, but it should look right. So I just want to talk to you about that as well, because I spoke about that a while back, but that's where we are. And yeah, it should look really cool. I really want to get this guitar together. I'm starting to get a little bit impatient, as I'm sure you are as well. But it's okay. It can't be rushed. I need to get rid of these fret dots now. They can all go in the bin. I need to hoover up as well, because I'm making a lot of mess. So I'll see you in a bit, people tube, when this is dried, and yeah, we'll go from there. Okay, people tube. So I have kind of jumped the gun a bit on this. The fret dot is not dry, but I wanted to show you in the video what it's kind of look like. But it is the right colour, so I'm very happy about that. So I can finally do the rest of these. So the next time you see this neck, when I get the guitar back and put it all back together, all the dots will be done. But this is where we are. So as you can see, it's kind of like a ready ready kind of orange. It's like a dirty orange, if you will. That's not even the right word, is it? But I don't know. Dirty orange. I don't know. But it's kind of the perfect colour for an old fret dot. Some of them, old clay dots are a funny thing. For this guitar, I wanted to go. If you look on Google, you can put in 1960s Strat clay dots, and you'll see they've all got different colours. Some are really white, some are kind of like grey, kind of blacky, kind of browny kind of coloured, like my 62 Strat. But some are really kind of like orange, ambery kind of colour. And that's the colour I wanted because I saw a Sunburst Strat on Google. From I'm pretty sure it was a 61 or a 62, I forget. But it had those colour dots in the fretboard. And it just looked really cool with the kind of like ambery, kind of like orangey tinted dots next to the three-tone sub. It looked really cool. So that was the colour I wanted for this one. And I was a bit worried about that filler not being quite right. And I was like, it might be a bit too orange. But rushing ahead, like I say, it's not fully dry yet. This one isn't. But I wanted to kind of like just to see really more than anything, and I'll be able to show you as well. Just to give you an idea of what it's going to kind of look like when it's done. That's where we stand at this point in time. Like I say, what I did, once you've kind of like layered it up, once it's on, you let it dry on top. I didn't let it dry fully just because I was kind of like rushing because I was a bit worried that I had the wrong kind of, filler, if you will. But I don't, which I'm happy about. And then what you do basically is just, what I do is with a very, very sharp craft knife, this one here, I tend to scrape the clay away, the filler away around the outside, like from the fret dot. Not going anywhere near the fret dot, but just kind of like making a square. I wish I had filmed this, but I didn't, because I'm clever. So I'll tell you about it instead. So there's a big blodge of clay on there. That's not even a word. But basically scrape it away around the outside and then leave that. And then basically just use really fine sandpaper. I use this sanding block, which is just basically like nothing now. It's really, really perfect for this job. And basically just sand. And eventually you're left with that. And I say, it does, it kind of like polishes the fretboard in a way as well. But that you won't see that. Like I say, once that's dry, I'll go over this with a fretboard restorative from Crimson Guitar Stuff, and that'll disappear. It'll all be the same, and it won't make any difference, and you won't see it again. And all's good. So I'm really happy with that, people. That is the exact colour I wanted. That is exactly how I want it to be. That one's come out absolutely perfectly. It's perfectly flat and smooth. Like I say, it isn't 100% dry at this point in time, but that's okay. But that is okay. I'm happy. I'm very happy. I said okay way too many times then. I'm glad I've got the bench dot holes in as well. So we've got the hole there, we've got the hole behind the D string, machine head. We're on with the clay dots. Like I say, this guitar will need a refret, unfortunately, very soon because these frets are just about dead. But it can wait. There's no particular rush on that one. We've got the right machine heads on this. We've got the right tremolo. We are literally just waiting now. Well, actually, we're not waiting just on the body. I am also going to get a wiring loom for the guitar as well. I want to get a period kind of correct wiring thing with a three-way selector as well, not five-way, which is what I've currently got in the guitar. So there are a couple of other things yet to do with this guitar. We are nearly there with it. We are nearly there with it, but not quite. So I don't know what the next episode of this will be. I don't know if we'll be doing the wiring in the scratch plate, or I don't know if the guitar will be back, the body will be back, and I can put the guitar back together. Because even with the wiring as it stands, if a body gets back before I have enough money to buy the wiring loom, then I will be putting this guitar back together. So the next video will either be the wiring and putting a three-way selector in with, kind of the right kind of era kind of stuff, or it will be reassembly of the guitar, because the whole wiring thing, I can do that once the guitar's reassembled anyway. So either way, people tube, it'll be one of those. Excuse me. And all of a sudden, he's got hiccups. So, but yeah, this neck is amazing. This really is a nice neck. It's not particularly vintage, spec. It's not really like a 60s Strat neck at all, but it's nice nonetheless, so all's well. But yeah, I'm really chuffed with that. I'm really chuffed with that. That has come out absolutely bob on perfect. Perfect colour. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to fill the rest of them. I'm going to leave it, once these are all filled, I'm going to leave it for about, well, I'm probably going to leave it over the weekend, to be honest with you. I'll probably come back Monday and finish it off. But that's all it is, people of YouTube. It's a very simple procedure to do clay dots on your guitar. I think you can even buy clay dots, so you can take them out and you can just put them in. I think this is more fun. But I don't really know how Fender did it, but I like doing it this way. I think it's cool. Like I say, when that's totally dry, that one there, I'll be absolutely bob on. But yeah, so I'm going to fill the rest of these, come back, leave it to kind of like set and basically cure basically over the weekend. Let it go hard, and then basically sand it down. And next time you see this neck, it'll all be done. So job's a good one. So thank you very much indeed for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it's been a little bit informative. I hope there's been something in there you can take away. I know it's kind of like not particularly, I don't know, not particularly interesting video, this one, but I did kind of want to do a bit of an update on where we are with the ST62 project. So, like I say, as it stands at this point in time, we're waiting on the body to come back, and we're also waiting to be able to afford to get a freeway selector wiring kit, period correct wiring kit for the guitar as well. Other than that, we are near enough there. So we're about 80% done on this guitar. It's pretty close. It's pretty close, and it is ridiculously accurate to a 62. We've got the holes in the neck. We've got the holes in the body. We've got dowel holes in the body. We've got the shielding plate. Got right machine heads, right tremolo unit. Got the period correct screws as well, because they're a little bit smaller than Fender screws these days. The old screws that Fender used to use are a lot smaller. Well, not a lot smaller, but substantially, not substantially either. God, you stupid boy. They're a little bit smaller than the screws they use today. So I've got them. They're all ready to go. So it's just a case of when the guitar comes back now, reassemble and have fun and see where we go. So anyway, people, hope you enjoyed this vid. I'll see you again very soon. Have a great morning, afternoon, good evening. Oh, goodbye now. Thank you much indeed. And like I say, I hope this is informative. And anybody interested in doing this, I hope this has been helpful. And if not, then I apologise immensely. But hopefully I've made it make sense. I'm terrified. Can you tell? I bet you can. I bet you can. Who knows? I don't know. Who are you, Dave? I don't know who you are. I'm having a crisis. Let's go. Goodbye now. Thank you very much indeed for watching. He's lost his mind. No!